One of modern-day society's biggest banes is the rising financial inequality and how it's growing at an alarming pace. You look at inflation, overpopulation, lack of resources, the whole gist. How do we counter this problem? Can it ever even be solved? Well, Elon Musk seems to think so. So, without any further ado, let's take a look at how. First up, here's what Musk has to say. Our favorite tech extraordinaire has once again been making rounds on Twitter, but this time it's for the right reasons. Quite recently, the Starlink CEO expressed some egalitarian ideas about how he thinks the issue of systemic financial inequality can be solved. He's often criticized for his billionaire status by many critics, especially those that look to delude the vulnerable populations into thinking that Elon Musk is responsible for their suffering. But contrary to popular opinion, Musk seems to be using his privilege and his resources to help people as well. In a tweet, Musk continued to elucidate how the only way out of poverty is through rectifying the grassroots problems, providing accessible education to impoverished areas. To put some flesh on that statement, he added that internet access closes that knowledge gap. This was in response to the Twitter handle of Tesla owners of Silicon Valley Club, who tweeted about Starlink's latest venture. So before we proceed, let's get a bit into that, shall we? Now, Starlink and the Amazonian region. In a venture that's being highly appreciated by the global community, SpaceX is piloting Starlink aboard school bus networks in the rural US. The project aims to keep students productive over lengthy rides, ensuring that they can complete their internet-related homework and coursework promptly, even if broadband is slow or non-existent in their homes. The spaceflight company supported FCC Chair Jessica Rosenworcel's May proposal to introduce Wi-Fi to school commutes and said it aided the regulators' plans to benefit school and library internet access through the E-rate program. Naturally, SpaceX felt it had the best means to conduct this, thanks to its rapid satellite network, portable dishes, and quick service for remote areas. The pitch comes just a few weeks after the FCC commissioned the use of Starlink in commute, noting that it would be of public interest. However, there's no guarantee that the FCC will embrace SpaceX and help launch the bus-based Starlink service. The commission had previously dismissed SpaceX's proposal for $885.5 million in aid via the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund. The firm, in response, blasted the rejection as unfair and objectively unsupported by facts and figures. The internet service hypothetically offers more consistent rural coverage than cellular data, though, and Starlink's competitors like Amazon's Project Kuiper have yet to deploy their faculties. But whatever reservations you may or may not have with Musk, we can't argue that this is helping people, millions of them. However, let's venture a bit into the background for this particular venture, ending poverty. Following this, Elon Musk's stance on poverty. Little close to a year ago, Musk was put in the limelight. This time, he was being name-dropped by a UN executive who proposed that just a small percentage of a fortune like Elon Musk's $300 billion could help solve world hunger. This, however, didn't sit very well with the Tesla CEO. This prompted him to tweet his challenge in response, urging them to explain how $6 billion will fix such a massive problem, and he'll sell the Tesla stock right now. Safe to say, things got a little heated. Then, David Beasley, the director of the UN's World Food Program, told CNN that it was time for the ultra-elite to step up now on a one-time basis. With more than just a grain of snark, the UN executive replied, $6 billion to help 42 million people that are going to die if we don't reach them. It's not complicated. He deadpanned, pinpointing Musk and Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, the two wealthiest men in the world. In a follow-up tweet, Musk added that the UN's framework must include open-source accounting so the public sees precisely how and where the money is spent, hinting at the corruption that goes on behind the roofs of UN charity. Beasley promptly responded to Musk's tweet just a few hours later, offering to be on the next flight to him and saying that the executive can very well throw him out if he doesn't like what he hears. Talk about some passive-aggressive professionalism, huh? Moving on, the logistics and the reality. But realistically, Beasley did admit later on, in a more civilized statement, how yes, the $6 billion figure wouldn't completely solve world hunger, but it surely will prevent global political instability and mass displacement and migration, saving nearly 42 million people that can lose their lives because of starvation. Funnily enough, though, CNN had mistakenly reported that the money would solve world hunger, but later rectified its headline to say 2% of Musk's fortune could only help solve world hunger. Historically, though, $6 billion worth of Tesla stocks would be greater than any other charitable donation Musk has ever made. Earlier, Musk announced to give away nearly $150 million, including a $100 million prize in a carbon removal reduction contest. And interestingly, Musk did donate nearly $5.75 billion USD to charity, but the charity, to date, remains unidentified. The package was worth about $5.7 billion based on the prices on the days that the stock was sold, making it one of the biggest charities commissioned in contemporary history. But what's in the gray? Why was an unidentified trust involved in the transaction? And why wasn't the name of the charity cited in the document? Something to think about, huh? The donation occurred as Musk, Tesla's CEO and owner, squared up against politicians like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren over wealth inequality and a potential wealth levy. But before we venture into the politics of charity schemes and organizations, we'd like to backtrack a bit to Starlink's Amazonian endeavor. So let's take a step back, shall we? Up ahead, Starlink services the Amazon and Zambia. Musk has long been an advocate for internet accessibility in areas, and one of the key tenets of focus in his charity organization has been aiding the local communities to gain access to primary education that would take people out of this state. Musk and his associates at SpaceX are taking this to a legislative level, speaking to the government of Zambia. Recently, Jito Kayumba, the special assistant to the Republic of Zambia, publicly tweeted about SpaceX and the country's officials setting up a meeting about Starlink services. Our president's engagement with the team from SpaceX and their Starlink initiative will escalate Zambia's position in the digital economy and enable universal access to the internet and other technologies. Kayumba concluded with how grateful he and the rest of Zambia was for this initiative from Musk. Elon Musk responded to Kayumba's tweet expressing his enthusiasm for providing SpaceX's Starlink service to help the people of Zambia. But it's worth mentioning that this isn't the first time Elon Musk has pointed toward education as an unequivocal solution to taking steps to solve poverty. In another interview with Elon Musk earlier in July, poverty and the Musk Foundation were topics of contention, and Musk was questioned about which accomplishments his foundation garnered that he was the proudest of. He was quick to implore that he didn't think the foundation had reached its full potential. However, an Education X Prize that specialized in improving literacy that he funded was something he felt was worth mentioning. What do you guys think about this? Let us know in the comments below. Next up, what does the tech billionaire have to say about poverty in the 21st century? A lot of the critique that Musk primarily faces is because of the wealth privilege he holds above people, and if we're being honest, it's not exactly wrong. He is a person whose net worth accounts for nearly $267 billion. So we do gather that it's hard to correctly assume what poverty feels like. But some might argue that he doesn't need to. All he needs to do is help reduce it, and he certainly seems supportive of that. Speaking rather factually, here's what Musk had to say about being poor in the modern world. If you can't read, it's hard to lift someone out of poverty, probably if they can't read. As for solving poverty, Elon emphasized that literacy and access to the internet were imperative. He added that we need to think beyond and above the United States, where billions of people are without internet or have very poor bandwidth. For many parts of the world, this is the case. Billions of people, Elon said. But only time will tell how and if systemic poverty can be eradicated, considering where the world is going. Alright, that's a wrap for this video. Let us know your thoughts on the tech billionaire's opinions and efforts regarding poverty in the comments section below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos. Until next time, ciao!